No,
No, that's good.
never crossed my mind. Because, I was always doing okay. It never was like down to like, oh my God, I can't do this,
Right. All right.
I was able to sustain a living, but you got to be smart. The industry is like anything in the arts. You can't be an idiot. You have to live within your means, and save your money and all that stuff. You have to be careful about what you're doing. If you do that, I think you can do whatever you want to do. But a lot of people don't realize that. They just take out loans and spend money, and before they know it, they're screwed. And that's what pushes you out of the arts field and into something else, because you've gone way overboard, or you think you need a lifestyle that is not going to be generated from what you're doing as an artist. So there's compromises, of course, and I have to say, it's got to do with who you're with too. My wife is great. She's amazing, and she gets it. It wasn't like she was pushing to do something that we couldn't afford to do. So, that's part of it. That's a big part of it.
When did you meet her?
She was a guitar student of mine. I met her in 1980.
Oh, wow.
And we were kids, and she was taking lessons with me. And
she was with you through all of it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome. That does help. Got to have that support system.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Because there's it's not an easy life. It's not an easy career. For anybody that's in the arts, it's really difficult because you have to. There's a lot of compromises. There's a lot of things you just cannot do that other people do. You have to stay true to what you're doing. You're always constantly refining what you're doing. So you're, I always feel like it's this ongoing process of just getting better and better,
How often do you practice?
Try to play every day, I don't practice like I used to practice, but, because I teach all the time, I'm always learning new material, and I'm, I practice a lot. I have to, you have to keep up certain things with classical guitar, for instance. If you don't practice it, you lose it, So that stuff I do have to go over quite a lot. But I enjoy it. I enjoy practicing. It's just I don't practice like 4 hours a day like I used to. When I was young, was insane with practicing,
But you were prepared.
Very obsessed. Yeah.
That's what happens. A lot of people, the opportunity is there, and they're not prepared. Like you were prepared for your auditions. You had done the work.
Yeah, it's essential. Preparation is the key to everything, because you need to be, because, if nerves creep in, you can lose 50% of your ability if you're not super prepared. That's a big thing. And I've seen it happen to a lot of guys. There are girls coming in not really prepared, and they could be really talented, but they just totally fail. Auditions are not easy. You're always, they're terrible, actually. I hate auditions.
Yeah.
It's, anything being judged,
Got to have a thick skin.
Yep.
So at what point did the Trans-Siberian Orchestra come about?
Well, let's start from the beginning of that. I grew up with a guy named Paul O'Neill, who was the creator of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Met him when I started teaching guitar at 14 at this music school. We became great friends. He was 4 years older than me. And the first songs that he ever wrote was with me and this other guy, Paul Silverstein, who's still a great friend, great guitar player. And we had this great band and ended up in New York City because Paul, which got him into the city, he was had auditioned for the George Harrison part of a show called Beatlemania, which was the first of the tribute kind of shows on Broadway that was produced by a company called, management company called Lieber Krebs Management, which was one of the biggest rock management companies in the world at the time, managing groups like Aerosmith and AC/DC. I think they had Def Leppard, Ted Nugent. It was a big company. And they produced this show called Beatlemania. So that got Paul into the business, and he got a place on 90th uptown.
Wow.
And we ended up getting this band together called Slow Burn, and it was a very cool progressive rock band that pretty amazing group, actually. And that ended up, we recorded at places like Electric Lady, which was Jimi Hendrix's studio. the record plant, the hit factory. We were in pretty amazing situations, and that ended up through the years morphing into what became Trans-Siberian, because you can see the very beginnings of Trans-Siberian Orchestra from this group, Slow Burn. So that happened. I did a lot of demo work with Paul early on before it ended up becoming a show. And I remember going to see, because I was with Taylor while he had started it, but I got involved with him after I left Taylor Dayne in like 2001. And probably within a couple of years, I think, between then and, 2004, as they were playing at Madison Square Garden, which I was able to do, which was unbelievable. It's incredible. And the record started selling through the roof, and, the rest is history. It just became this gigantic show, and still is, just one of the biggest productions in the world,
Absolutely. Was it the Christmas one? I know the Christmas one was very...
that's how it started, yeah. I mean, if there's other music that is non-holiday that they've done, but it started out as like these Christmas-themed records, yeah.
And so you went on tour with them?
Well, I didn't tour with them. I did some dates with them. I was part of the records. I've been on all the albums, and part of a sort of a group that was there as an insurance policy during the tours, that if anyone got sick, we would have guys go out and fill in. Quite frankly, I didn't want to go away again, and I was away for so many years with Taylor that it was like, you're back and forth, and I didn't realize it was going to be as big as it was either, But I was involved with that for about 13 years, Trans-Siberian, and I got to do like the Nassau Coliseum. I got to play at the Garden, a bunch of other bigger shows too. But I didn't actually tour. They still do have two touring companies, an East Coast and a West Coast tour. That's it's unbelievable. It's one of the biggest productions you'll ever see.
What is your process when you write music? How do you go about it? Is it a certain time of day that you have to sit down, or do you set aside a few hours that you say, okay, I'm going to write something?
I would say it's mostly at night, like late. I have a studio outside of my house that I work out of, which is very quiet. Because I don't think it's not good having distractions of any kind. So I like to go and, turn everything off, phones and all that sort of stuff, and just creatively work. So I would say mostly in the evenings, I mean, I can sometimes do my best work at 1 or 2 in the morning just because it's quiet, and you're sort of lost in your own thoughts. But, you can get an idea for a song at any point. And I always carry around, well, now you have your phones with the digital recorders, which is handy. You can just kind of get something down real quick if you have a quick idea, But, it can start with anything. It can start with a phrase or a melody or a chord change. And it doesn't always work, but, if you're inspired by something, it's funny how that can take over. And it's a very different area in terms of, I don't follow any kind of particular pattern or plan. I do tend to fall into certain melodic things based on Beatles and that sort of songwriting, which it's just what I love. I like melody, I like how songs were written. A lot of tunes that are today are, just very kind of generic, 4 chords being cycled around. It's really just not very good. Things haven't like sort of gotten any better,
Different time, different era. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything you haven't done yet that you'd like to do as a musician?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything, It's just an ongoing thing. So I don't, there's nothing I specifically want to do, but just keep doing it, really. To me, every day playing and doing it is great. That's success,
That's great. And what can you tell me about the Cover Girl Band?
Great band. A girl from Trans-Siberian, Jennifer Chella, who I knew, wasn't great friends with her, but I knew of her because she was so great, and she was one of the stars of the show. She's the lead singer in the group. And she and the old band I was with just this group, New Life Crisis, for many years. So a lot of the guys from that band the drummer, myself, and the keyboard guy, when we left that group, we decided to try something else, and Jennifer was interested, so she said yes to it. We brought in a great guitar player named Ken Cino, who plays with Mike Del Giudis's band, Big Shot. He's the guy in Billy Joel's band. Great guy, great player. And I guess about a year ago, we started screwing around, rehearsing, and seeing what we could come up with. And it's just starting to, develop now. It's really good. And we're doing a lot of different interesting things, mashups of songs and medleys and stuff that's different, so we have to try stuff out, see if it works, go back to the drawing board, try it again, But so far, people love it, It's been good. Really loving it.
Well, any advice for future musicians?
Yeah, get your plumber's license. Music is for suckers. I don't know. I mean, it's if it's something that you can't live without, you just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no real advice. People that are drawn to it are going to do it anyway. It's just I would say, because the way it is now, there's really no business like it used to be. Whatever's digital is free, so no one's making money selling records. That's for sure. So you got to be willing to do a lot of compromising, to sustain, somewhat of a normal life. Mm-hmm. And you got to be willing to play live too, because that's really where you're going to make money, is playing out, So that's a big part of it. So, I mean, I think, no matter what, people that are drawn to music or art in general are going to do it no matter what. If they, it's like a calling, you have to. But advice is, I would just say, be as prepared as you possibly can. Be aware and educated about the pitfalls of the industry, and don't be unrealistic. A lot of people have pipe dreams, and it's, you got to keep things in perspective, because most of the time things do not work. That's just the truth. So you just got to love it, and whatever version of it that you're doing, try to enjoy it. I think that's the best advice. I mean, you can strive for whatever you want to strive for, but at this point in time, there is no real business anymore, in terms of selling things. And it's the same goes with authors and filmmakers. Anything that's able to be digitized is ultimately stolen and is shared, and no one's making money. That's the truth. So unless you're out playing live and making money that way, you're really not going to make money. It's why we have so many tribute bands at this point in time, because people that are going out to see groups want to see what they're familiar with from years past, and a lot of great musicians that were doing maybe great original music are now in these tribute groups, tributing other famous, iconic artists. That's the reality. That's what's happening,
But you're fine with it.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? There's nothing you're going to do to change it.
How long do you guys usually play at the Cover Girl Band? Is it like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, about 2 hours, I would say. Maybe it depends on the gig, but, sometimes we'll do an hour and a half straight. Sometimes we'll do, 2 75-minute sets. It really depends on the venue and what we're asked to do. But we do have enough material to do probably a total of like 2.5 hours, maybe. But, again, it's developing. We'll see how it turns out. It's been really good so far. I'm really totally enjoying it, though. Great talent,
That just elevates everything when you're working with so many talented people.
Like the drummer in the band is a guy named John Sawicki, and he was one of the stars of that Broadway show Stomp. And he's great. He's a great character, great drummer. His energy is amazing. I love playing with him because of that. I feed off of that, Ken Cino, great guitar player, so I feed off of his energy too. And this guy Rob Weber, a great keyboard guy. We have, and of course Jennifer is just an incredible performer and singer. So it's a home run with all the people. You know what I mean?
And you're just in the tri-state area?
At the moment, yeah, we're on Long Island. But we'll play anywhere. We're just at this point, like I said, we're still feeling out what we're ultimately going to end up doing as a band, and that's developing. But it's getting there quite quickly,
Did you ever feel like moving off the island? I know you've been, when you start touring with